Ganesh. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Hey, Praveen, can you take a look?
Good evening, everyone. This is Praveen Panakanti. I'm the CEO of SPL Consulting. I won't take too much time with introduction, but we started SPL in 2010. It's been 15 years. We are the Oracle partner, and we are specialized in a lot of niche areas. We have been doing a lot of work on the CX side. Subscription management is part of the CX, and of course, we have been doing a lot of financials and other areas that we did a lot of implementations. And we are one of the very few SIs that started the subscription management when Oracle released this module in 2018. And we took almost seven customers live on the subscription management so far in the last 78 years. Okay. So my background is I'm completely last 25 years I'm onto Oracle side, and with a lot of this Oracle expertise, I started this company in 2010, and I will hand it over to Ganesh and then to Kavya, who are the experts on subscription management. Let's go to the next slide. So subscription management, right? When we talk about the subscription based billing, so there are a lot of challenges, right? So Oracle has really come up with a very good module in 2018. Earlier it used to be service contracts, part of the enterprise contracts, but they have added so many features. They have taken the scenarios, the use cases from the customers, and build this model in such a way that it can the automate the complete the billing process and the revenue side, right? So whether you use upstream as Oracle or whether you use any other upstream, but it's still the subscription management does support all kinds of use cases, whether it's a one-time billings, whether it's a recurring billings, usage based billing, right? So it does support most of them, and you can automate all the way from CPQ to subscription management and subscription management to the AR and so on. So end to end, of course, to the revenue recognition side. So there are a lot of features given. It's Ganesh and Kavya will walk us through. And you can eliminate a lot of manual touches here in the process, like from the point the subscription creation to all the way to the revenue recognition, as long as the rules are defined properly, as long as you have your billing methods and everything defined properly. So we'll get into the details. Ganesh, you want to add anything to it?
Yeah, Praveen, just to highlight on the business challenges, right, that we have seen across industries, that first is the multiple sources that the customer has, right? Maybe it's a legacy ERP system, or their order capturing system, or their quoting system, having so many multiple sources, and, it becomes really a bottleneck when you're going through an invoicing process, right? If one of the source system is delayed for giving any kind of data related to subscription, right, then it really becomes a bottleneck. Now with subscription management being implemented, right, that some of the things can be stored within Oracle itself, as Oracle will be a system of record for all the data entries, such as your product, your customer, your pricing portion. All that can be stored under one single source of truth, which is your Oracle. And then it is all automatically integrated with subscription to AR to RMCS, and until your journal entries. So that's been one of the great help, that having everything under one single Oracle umbrella, right, rather than keeping under multiple sources, right. And eventually, right, when you try to integrate between systems, right, so automation happens, and there is no manual need of creating any subscription or anything, meaning everything is created automatically in such a way that there is no human intervention needed, which eliminates a lot of errors, or your reporting issues, or your accounting issues, or your ledger issues, right? So that's one of the business advantages that folks can have if subscription management is implemented.
Yeah, can go to the next one.
All right, let's get started with the use cases then. So we have briefly sessioned it in such a way that we are trying to cover as much as the use cases that we have covered across our various clients and what are the challenges that they have seen while implementing such kind of use cases. And the next portion will be what are the features that is provided by Oracle as a part of out of the box functionality. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the first use case, which is the create subscription integrated from various sources, right? Now, in most of the clients, what we have seen is they either have a legacy ERP system, which might be, Salesforce, CPQ, or PeopleSoft, or any other such, ERP systems. But when you have such kind of systems, right, it is very flexible enough to, kind of integrate with Oracle subscription module. For example, CPQ, right? CPQ has a native integration, which means, you do not need to have any kind of adapters or anything. Maybe if you have a OIC layer, right, there are certain standard adapters that are available in order to create the subscription lifecycle. When I say subscription lifecycle, it will cover up your subscription creation, your renewal process, your amendment process, or any other such related features to subscription module. So that's one of the advantages, when you have a CPQ as your source system, as it provides a direct integration path is offered by Oracle, right? But whereas when you come to PeopleSoft or Salesforce, right, maybe you don't have a direct native integration. You might have to go through a middleware, whether it is OIC or MuleSoft or any other custom APIs, right? So that's gonna help you, in building your integration with subscription management. Now, key factors, right? When you have this integration in place, it helps you to eliminate a lot of data entries, your manual billing errors that you do, and your subscriptions are created automatically. Once your subscription is created, you can also initiate certain approval if needed to activate the subscription and take it forward to the AR module or the revenue module, right? And overall, it gives you a good picture of your forecasting of your subscription data, as well as your billing data, as well as your revenue data, right? It gives you a forecasting on that purposes. And also it accelerates your order to cash cycle, right? Like, you will understand, or you will have an idea of what kind of cash flow is going to happen in the over the period of that contract, right? So that's one of the greatest help or feature that subscription gives you. Praveen, if you want to add anything on the
Yeah,
first
so
piece.
I mean, we have I mean, we implemented 7 projects so far, and we have the mix of, like, the upstream being Oracle CPQ. We use the CPQ in 1 or 2 customers. They had the Salesforce, so we had both scenarios, right? So, but of course, the seamless integration between Oracle CPQ to subscription is always, like, helpful, not doing a lot of custom component. But when it comes to an integration from Salesforce, so Oracle has given very good APIs, like, every action that you perform in the upstream, we have the API, like, so this is I mean, one of the module that I've seen really, really good, like, every time we go, hey, customer has this kind of a use case, and they expanded these APIs in such a way that, like, either you wanted to take the action directly in subscription management for any one of scenarios, or you want to trigger this from upstream. So both, I mean, integration point of view, even though you integrate and the APIs are so good, everything is given. But of course, with Oracle CPQ, it's a kind of a seamless integration within the Oracle. Okay, go ahead, Ganesh. That's
Yeah, that's all we had on the first use case. Let's move on to the second use case, which is mainly on the data conversion area. So before even we move on to data conversion, right, there are certain things that we normally discuss with your customer, right? Like what kind of data we want to bring into, all those use cases. So Praveen will deep dive into, all those use cases that we generally discuss with our customer before even we start our conversion process. Ritik, if you can go to the next slide, right?
Yeah. So this is not meant to go to the so many details of this, but whenever we go to a customer, right, we first understand, hey, what exactly your requirement, or what exactly, I mean, what is your need to convert the history to Oracle, right? So if you look into this, is just as an example we put together. So we understand, hey, it's not just the subscription. Okay, what is your subscription that you are using, right? Then is it billed or is it invoiced already? Is it paid or not? Based on all those, if you see the first four columns, the input of all these four will drive what we need to do for the customer. So we collect all the information that we outlined the first four columns. And if the subscription is closed or if the subscription is active, if it is closed, why do we need to bring it? Because there are some open invoice. If so, do I really need a subscription or can I convert into AR? So we deep dive all these use cases, understand. Without understanding all these, if you are simply taking the data from legacy system and convert into Oracle, that doesn't make any sense. You are going to have a lot of problems. So if you see the kind of a strategy that we put together for every customer, I mean, of course, this is not the only one. This is just like a framework to understand, hey, these are my inputs with the current use cases, and tell me what you're going to do from the subscription conversion point of view, from the open AR side of it, or even the receipt side of it. So this is just to kind of show you, like, and for each of these line item, right, for each row, there will be a details behind that. Hey, how do we do that? That's kind of deep dive into that. But we are not trying to get into the details, but this is our conversion strategy we follow with every customer. We implement the subscription management. Okay. You can go to the next one, Ritik.
Yeah, just wanted to add things on it, Praveen. From a conversion point of view, right? Like once you have discussed all these things with your customer and then you have finalized what kind of data that you want to bring in, right? There are two approaches to bring in the data. It can be via integration can be built and you have REST APIs in order to bring your subscription. That one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is, getting through the import management file. So Oracle has provided something called as .csv files, which is similar to your FBDI version. So you can input your data there and then get it into Oracle subscription management, right? So yeah, that's on the conversion point of view. We can move on the next one, Ritik. Yeah. The next use case that we have or is on the subscription based, the usage based subscriptions. Right now, as most of you know, that there are like usages are mainly under two kind of categories. We have something called as conventional use case capture, and then there is something called as advanced rate plan or event based usage, right? So what exactly does this mean? So let's say you have agreed with your customer a certain price on a subscription, right? Like let's take an example for customer A. If he is opting for product ABCD, I'm going to charge him for $10 quantities that is going to be used, right? So at the end of the period, right, since bill usages are billed in arrears, at the end of the period, we get the usage quantities from your third party application, store it into subscription module. Once you have your usages there, what it does is it just does a rate multiplication with your price that you have stored on the subscription. What that happens is your quantity is getting multiplied by the price that was defined on the subscription, and then it gives you the billing amount. So that billing amount is now eligible to go to AR for invoicing purpose and for RMCS for your revenue recognition and revenue contract purposes. So that's the conventional way of getting into usage data into subscription and then taking it forward. But there were certain scenarios that a client used to ask us that can we have something as an allowance based usage or so-called estimate based usage or overage kind of usage? Yes, the answer is yes. And Oracle has recently, in its couple of releases, right, they have brought those functionalities back to us. And what happens is you can do everything into one source of application instead of maintaining or doing the calculations into a custom Excel sheet or a third party application tool, right? All this can be seamlessly done within subscription management itself. Like for example, you wanted to have a subscription, and when your subscription is created, you are you are gonna so when you create a subscription, you discuss with your client that or a customer that I have engaged with so many quantities with you for this particular subscription, but if I go above and beyond those quantities, you will be charged at a certain X amount of dollar, right? So those kind of use cases can be done using this new feature, which is called the event based usage. Praveen, if you want to add anything on this usage kind of things.
No, I think you pretty much covered, Ganesh, but also just wanted to add a few more things. Like, every customer we go to, we have different types of challenges on the handling the usage scenarios. So, like, we have the membership model. We have also like, food and restaurant business. We have like TMT space. So, like, hey, I wanted to feed usage in a certain way where I don't want to touch my subscription. I don't want to like there were scenarios where like, hey, when you transfer the ownership, we'll cover this in another slide, but every customer we had been to, there were really a challenges like, a unique use case with respect to usage. And by the way, if your the usage system is, if you have any web-based application where you wanted to feed the usage, but we can always like kind of summarize that based on the billing cycle that applies to subscription side of it. So you can always kind of an aggregate that one. You can build some logic in between your usage system to subscription management, or you can directly feed it. As long as the volume is manageable. So we have a lot of ways to handle this, and even Oracle has given a very good functionality on this rating side, and they have a couple of approaches based on complexity and volume of this usage, and it's really good, and they have been like taking the use cases and expanding this functionality in every release that's coming up. I mean, in the last few years, I have seen a lot of improvement and enhancements with respect to the usage-based billings.
Yes, especially on the rate plans that we have on the subscription, right? Like, what this rate plan means is on a given product, right? You can have multiple charge or rate plans associated with it. And then when you create the subscription, you can pick and choose whatever rate plan is eligible for that customer. When I say rate plan, let's try to get an idea of it, right? Maybe if you have a gold rate plan, a silver rate plan, a platinum rate plan, you can select it when you're creating the subscription, and based on that your usages will be charged, right? So those kind of features are available on this usage based subscription. The next use case that we have is enhanced interface date logic. So what does this mean is in Oracle subscription management, you can bill your invoices in two ways. One is billing it in advance and billing it in arrears. So for let's take an example, right? Like where you have a contract which is going to start on 1st of January, right? And ending on 31st of December 2026. One way of approaching your billing is you can bill it on the start of the contract, which is like an advance billing, and one more way is the arrears billing, which is after the end of the period. But let's say you want to have some kind of customizations, right? Like I don't want to bill it on first of the billing period, but I want to bill it on mid of the period, right? Those kind of features are available in subscription management using the billing by mid period, or billing it by certain offsetting the dates, or even by using this interface date logic. So what this means is in subscription there is an attribute called as interface date, which is populated based on certain billing attributes. But let's say if that is not meeting your business requirement, there are ways to override this particular interface date, and that date will your subscription will be eligible for your billing purposes, right? So as part of 25C release, Oracle has released, you can edit the interface date as well as the planned invoice date on the billing summary line, and that helps you really to bill on a certain date that you have agreed with your customer. So that kind of flexibility is there in subscription management. I remember, like, one of our client who had a use case where they wanted to bill their customer even before the contract gets, started with, right? We wanted to bill them prior a month before or 2 months before, right? Those kind of things can be, seamlessly done now. So
Yes,
this feature really helps, in dictating your what should be your AR invoice dates. Yep. So let's move
let's
on to the next
let's
one.
move on. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is having create subscriptions having payment method as credit card, right? Like out of the box, when you create a subscription, you have certain payment methods, right? Whether it can be a check, whether it can be a wire, or whether it can be a PO, right? Purchase order, right? But Oracle has also given you a feature where your customer can, pay your subscription using credit card. Now, before you implement this, you will have to do certain kind of setups, like your tokenization has to be done, and Oracle has provided REST standard REST APIs for such kind of things. And also, as a part of your subscription activation, right, there are certain business events available when you want to activate your subscription. Hey, can I do the authorization of the credit card? The answer is yes, you can do that. There are standard REST APIs which helps you to do the authorization, and then your bills can be paid automatically based on the payment terms or the due date on the invoice. Those kind of things can be done, and your credit card information is always captured on the customer billing level, billing site, or the billing bill to level, right? Your credit card can be stored. So that's a good feature to have, right, on the subscription, where your customer can use it by paying through the credit card method. Praveen, if you want to add anything on this one.
No, I think you covered on the credit card side, but a couple of things I want to mention on the payment side of it is like, in one of the customer, they, for some reason, I mean, they don't use the credit card one, but they do the auto debit functionality from the AR point of view. So I don't remember exactly, but there was a situation there they had to edit the payment method on certain invoices, and it requires manual intervention. So they don't want to do that. So what we did was, we automated the process in such a way that, hey, I'm creating a subscription in subscription management, and this is the kind of a product that I'm using. If that is the case, automatically select my payment method as so and so on. So the framework is given, like, subscription management, the backend framework is like, they have the app composer where it's a configurable. It's not like something like, you're not going to customize anything. It's more like a configuration based framework, right? So using that, you can achieve a lot of things based on your specific use cases. That's what in the last 7 implementations, we have studied that a lot. And of course, we worked very, very closely with Oracle team and the product development team. They have helped us a lot in many occasions where, to validate the use cases and make sure that, we are going in the right direction and there are no downstream impacts, right? So one of the thing was like, hey, based on your some of the attributes on the subscription, how do I automatically pick my payment method on the AR side? This is like a complete automation and doesn't require any manual intervention. And as soon as the AR invoice is created, then the payment will be, debited from a customer bank account. So it's like, from the time, like let's say you have the point of sale system, right? They send like a data on a weekly basis or monthly basis. The moment they send the data from the point of sale system to Oracle, the subscription is already created upfront. You don't need to touch anything. The billing gets generated based on the like a billing cycle, and it automatically creates invoice and go to AR, collect the payment. So it's completely automated. Unless there is an issue, you kind of go and see, what's the problem, but otherwise it's a fully automated process. Go ahead, Ganesh. I don't want to take
Yeah.
too much time on that. So
Yeah. So let's move forward. The next use case that we have is $0 billing, $0 billing to be excluded from $0 billing line exclusion. So what this means is, when you have a subscription, there are certain products that are associated with the subscription, right? Whether you have agreed to give it for the free of cost or as a promotion activity, things like that, right? So there are certain products on the subscription which may have a $0 as the total contract value, right? And when it goes to AR, there might it might create a lot of confusions from an accounting perspective, or a reporting perspective, or a forecasting perspective, right? So in order to eliminate that, we have a way around to kind of eliminate those lines going from subscription management to AR as well as to RMCS. So there are ways to do it, is what we are trying to convey here. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, the next one is customer based billing, right? So there are specific use cases where you want to bill your customer based on certain price that you have agreed, right? Whether it can be price for a product can be vary from customer to customer. Those kind of detailing can be done on a subscription, right? So for example, right, let's take an example. If you have a customer A where you have priced a product ABC for maybe for $100, the same product should be priced to customer B maybe at $110, right? Those kind of things can be done within subscription module, right? Using a pricing configurations, those things can be achieved. Or whether you want to have promotion pricing, or your tier based pricing, or your so-called specific to customer based pricing, right? Those kind of things can be achieved using your pricing within the Oracle system, right? Those kind of use cases can be achieved is what we are trying to convey here. Now what happens when you use those kind of things is, your billing discrepancies are reduced a lot. Everything is automated. Whatever was initially agreed on the quote, or so called the opportunity, right, those will be entitled on your subscription.
Yeah.
That's what we meant
Right.
by customer based billing. Yeah, go ahead, Praveen.
And also, Ganesh, one thing, I think there was someone pinging me on the question. So, on the tiered basing pricing, right? So that's inbuilt functionality, right? So you can upfront define all the tiers, and based on where it, even within the tiered basing, there are options. Is it a block based or is it aggregated? How do you want to list these tiers, right? So all those scenarios are possible within the standard functionality. And also, I forgot to mention, when you create a subscriptions as part of your migration or conversion, you can also create subscriptions in the tiered model. So that way, like you have the tiered basis subscriptions created upfront, and based on how you define your tiers, the pricing applies accordingly. So Oracle subscription management tightly integrates with the pricing module. And also, like if you have more advanced pricing, and I mean, the pricing module supports, like the basic functionality of your pricing, but your CPQ is like a kind of enhanced pricing, so you can do a lot of things, not just for the subscription point of view, right? CPQ can be used to interface to either subscription management, goes to order management, go to any other billing system, so you can integrate CPQ to all these modules.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, it has given you the flexibility whether you want to keep your pricing in Oracle or you want to maintain it in a third party application, right? Those flexibilities are available here. So, with that being said, let's move forward to the next use case, which is the revenue recognition point of view, right? So, as a framework built between Oracle subscription and Oracle revenue management module, right? It is built on the standards of ASC 606 and IFRS 15 compliance, right? Your revenue has to be recognized. Now, you have the flexibility when recognizing your revenue, right? Your subscription can dictate to the revenue module that whether you want to have this revenue recognized over the period or in time, right? The best example is like in time means when you have a contract that's going to start on 1st of January, you want to recognize everything upfront on 1st of January. That's something called as point in time revenue. And over the period means, let's say you have a contract which is for 12 months, right? You want to recognize over the periods, meaning having 12 billing schedules, right? Those kind of revenue recognition models are also available in Oracle. With that being said, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so on the membership, we had a couple of clients actually, supported on this model. Like basically, right, you created a subscription, right? Let's say, the subscription is consists of like, multiple members on that subscription, right? So one thing is, how do you structure your subscription is one challenge, right? So then, how do you manage the subscription? Like, we had it in one of the food and restaurant business. We had one in other domain where, like, you are the primary member, you have the other members. If someone is changing the ownership from the primary member to another member, right, for billing point of view, how do you manage these membership model, right, without changing the subscription? So I'll give you an example. Like, let's say, I have a franchise business, right, where in the mid of the billing cycle, I'm transferring the ownership to a different person, but the franchise detail doesn't change. Means, like, the store number remains same thing, the like the business doesn't change, just the ownership changes. So how do you manage your subscription without changing everything, but just the billing details, right? So we have automated this process, or we have streamlined this process in such a way that within the given functionality, I don't want to close the subscription and create a new one just because of the ownership is changed. So without closing the subscription, how do you tackle this scenario? So we had at least two clients where, two different domains, we achieved this one. So one of the other client was like more like a membership model, like, how do you have multiple members on the same subscription, and you can tackle between members, like, who is the primary one, who is the bill to party and who is the non-bill to party. So membership model is also possible in the subscription management. Okay. You can go to the next one. So, we just highlighted only very few in the use cases, but there are so many use cases within the 1 hour. I don't think we can go through, but if anyone has any specific use case that you come across or anything that you wanted to discuss with us, please let us know, and we would be happy to chat with you. Because every project is different. Every customer, like, has, there are a lot of things are common, but still we encountered so many unique use cases, and we would be happy to chat with you if there are any specific use cases you want to talk. Okay. Go ahead, Ganesh. Kavya, do you want to cover
Yeah.
this one?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Praveen and Ganesh. So let's jump into the features or the functionalities of subscriptions. We have had quite a bit of insights from Praveen and Ganesh on how or what kind of use cases that we have received from our clients. Let's try and tie these to some of the features. I'm going to go into a very high level here. There's quite a lot of nuances to these configurations, but let's try to cover these from a very generic point of view. So when we talk about subscriptions, let's go with a very basic one, wherein we create and how do we create a subscription. Now, a subscription in itself relies on quite a lot of modules in Oracle for its data, like the customers or the pricing, and a few such other things that subscription relies on. The other modules for it to process and for it to be a whole. It could be that these this data are coming from the existing modules or the existing Oracle system, or it could be coming from a different system. It's completely up to the client how they want to solution their subscriptions. But as a part of subscriptions, we have different kinds of pricing that Ganesh has already talked about. We have different kinds of billing frequencies, wherein, let's say, a customer wants to be billed every monthly or every quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. It completely depends on the business and how they want to solution their contracts. We have billing frequencies to handle those, and we have different kinds of pricing that we can identify and associate to a subscription at the time of creation, or we can also go ahead and do a lot of markups and discounts in the middle of a contract, which I will cover later on. So this was something very basic about subscriptions. Now, when we talk about subscription creation itself, we have different ways we want to create. We have different ways in which we create subscriptions. Like, for example, let's say there's very low volume of subscriptions, or let's say you want to create a subscription on an ad hoc basis. We can have the user create them manually directly into the UI, simply by selecting whatever options or whatever customers that they need the subscription to be created for, and go ahead with it. But in a large scale, let's say when we are dealing with customers which have a lot of contracts coming up in a month, we always suggest go ahead with a REST API integration, wherein we create integration between two systems. Or we also have the import management. We usually leverage import management for our conversions. We have also kind of trained our users to use import management to load bulk of their data if they feel the need to. Let's talk a little about approvals. Approvals is something that I think it's very common to a lot of other modules as well. Oracle subscriptions has its own set of approvals too. We have had a client requirement in the past wherein the client wanted an approval to be sent over to two different approvers at the time of a subscription creation. There were no specific criteria. As long as subscription is created, before it's activated, it just needs to go to an approval to two of these users. If one of the approvers approves it, the subscription was deemed approved and activated. And the other specific one was specifically for amendments, and these were on the basis of TCV, which is total contract value. So it was something along the lines of, if the subscription amendment was for a particular TCV, it went to a particular different approver, and if it was for a different amount or an amount beyond that, it went to a different approver. So this amendment is not a standard feature that Oracle currently has, but Oracle did help us customize this, and we were able to take this forward in the way the client wanted. Right, that was all about creation of subscriptions.
It's more of a configuration, I would say. Just
right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about renewals of subscriptions. Since we have talked about subscriptions and their terms and all of that, a subscription in itself could be of any term. It totally depends on the contract and the agreement. We could have a subscription for about a year, maybe 3 years, or even 5 years for that matter. A subscription doesn't necessarily always have to renew. It could come to the end of its course and then expire on its term. Or if there is a requirement for the customer to continue renewing the subscription, if they want to go ahead with the renewal, we do have 2 different methods to renew a subscription. One being the automatic one, wherein the customer is pretty confident that they would want to go ahead and continue, using their services and renew their subscription at the end of the term. In which case, we have predetermined templates which we associate with the subscription, and at the end of the term, the subscription is renewed with all of those predetermined setups. There are also scenarios wherein the customer is not sure, or if they are looking for other, things that they would probably want to go ahead and renew it maybe at the end, or they're still unsure of it. The users always have the option to go into a particular subscription just a few days or weeks before it's ended, and then they can renew it at the end of the term. There are different ways you can handle this. You can handle this at the time of the subscription creation or at the middle of the subscription. It's totally up to the user's discretion or the customer's discretion.
And also, sorry, I just wanted to add, there are so many APIs available. Even if you are like trying to trigger the renewals based on certain specific logic, we can always define all the renewal rules in such a way that for so and so scenario, trigger this renewal. So we can. There was like one particular customer where it was so heavy on the renewal side of the logic, we built in. Go ahead, Kavya.
Thanks for that, Praveen. So let's talk about a little bit of amendments. When I say amendments, it simply means that changes in the middle of a contract. There could be thousands of scenarios wherein a customer can come forward and say that they want to change something on a particular subscription, on an active subscription, which is in the middle of billing currently. We have an option to go ahead and amend these. The changes could be of any kind. It could be change in quantity or pricing or a markup or a discount, change in products. We also have, I think, something called service transfers, wherein the customer itself changes. All of those can be accommodated as a part of this amendment. Let's say you don't want to close a subscription, you just want to go ahead and change the existing subscription. You can do these with the help of amendments. Amendments could be both either at the whole, that is at the, you change the whole subscription, or you can change some of the particular lines on a particular subscription. Again, when we talk about amendments, I would like to go ahead and also highlight that some of these things can be handled through an integration with the help of API. Let's say if the volume of your amendments are huge and you think these kind of changes are recurring, you can always rely on your integrations, build your integrations in such a way that it can accommodate amendments for you in Oracle subscriptions, or you always have the option to go into the system, into the UI, train your users to go ahead and do these amendments for you. And these amendments, after you have run the ASIS jobs, they will go and integrate with your downstream modules, which is AR and RMCS.
Yeah. And also wanted to add one more thing, Kavya. There is also bulk functionality available. So let's say you have like 1,000 subscriptions. You wanted to make one particular change across all these 1,000 subscriptions. It's like fraction of minutes. Like you can do like a bulk updates or bulk amendment, I would call it as. So that will go ahead and automatically change on all the subscriptions based on the criteria that you select.
Right, that's right.
And wanted to add, Kavya, that most of our clients, right, they have always most of our clients, right, they always have this common question like, can we initiate the amendments in the upstream And then once it is initiated in the upstream, can we sync it in the Oracle? The answer is yes. There are standard APIs available that can be invoked from your upstream itself, meaning your salesperson, if they do a change on your subscription on the upstream system, it can get synced up to your Oracle subscription management using standard APIs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Ganesh and Praveen. Let's go to the next slide, Ritik. Thank you. All right. Now let's talk about a closure of subscription. Well, when we have a subscription which is in the middle of its term or at the end of its term, and it's still in the process of coming to the end of its term, there have been scenarios when the customers come forward saying they no longer want to continue with the subscription or they want to end the billing right away. We do have options to close a subscription, and when I talk about close, there are different ways in which you would want to process these close. Oracle provides you the feasibility to either close with a credit or close with a partial credit or no credit at all. You have all of these options at the time of close. You can close a subscription as a whole at the header level, wherein it closes all of the lines in a subscription, or you can go into any of the specific lines on, let's say you have a couple of 10 lines on a subscription and you want to only close out maybe 5 of those. You can very well do that. You can do that by going into either each of those lines and closing them, or you can do that with the help of an amendment or a mass close or a bulk close, which that Praveen or Ganesh just talked about a while ago. We have an option to do these in bulk as well. When we talk about closure, again, we have different methods with which we can do this, either with the help of integrations or, again, as I talked about, the manual process. Having said that, there is an option to also revert a close, which I think is a very incredible feature. Is that, let's say you have closed a subscription either by mistake, or you realize that you no longer want to end the subscription and you want to continue it and bring it back or revert it to its previous status. You can do this. You can go to the subscription and undo a close. You have that option at the line level. But you need to keep one thing in mind, is that you can only do this as long as it is not interfaced to AR. And once you have gone ahead and reverted the close, it will go back to its previous status, what it was before you applied close. So that was about close. Any other points that you guys would want to add here, Praveen or Ganesh?
No, keep going.
All right.
No.
Okay, cool. Let's go into revenue recognition. I think revenue and accounting, Ganesh has already covered a bit of it. I would like to talk more in terms of what would we do and how things have been different for some of our clients in the past. For one of the clients, they had requested that the revenue recognition only happen on a certain date or start on a certain date. They did not want, usually the subscription, when it interfaces to revenue management, it's usually the start date of the subscription is considered as the revenue start date as well. But one of our clients wanted a different start date, in which case we have gone ahead and implemented a custom attribute called either a provision date or a revenue start date, wherein the start date of the subscription may not be as same as the revenue start date. So as Ganesh talked about the point in time and over the period, we have these setups at the line level on the subscription, wherein when we check these boxes, it usually decides whether the product is recognized immediately at the point of time or it goes over the term of the subscription. So we have different ways to handle revenue as well. It integrates beautifully, or Oracle subscription integrates amazingly with the revenue, and you can do most of these things in the standard features or in the form of customizations. Let's talk a little about billing. I've already covered a little bit about the billing frequencies, wherein you have different sort of billing frequencies wherein you want to send out invoices to your customer monthly, weekly, quarterly. It's totally up to your agreement. But then you can have a subscription with multiple of these billing frequencies. Each of your line could have different billing frequencies. Oracle very well supports that. You can also always go ahead and end a particular line or amend it, and for it can proceed to have a different billing frequency later on in the middle of the term. Now that we have talked about the billing frequencies, I would like to bring up a very specific requirement that one of our clients had was, what would they do if there is an invoice that is billed on the 1st of January 2026, but they want the invoice to be sent over to their customer on 1st of December 2025. That is, they want the invoice to be sent over in advance, which is Quite possible in Oracle, we have a feature called offset days. What we do is we set a negative amount of days on this offset, and based on these days, the invoice is sent over to the customer by those number of days. So we do have a feature to send over, advanced invoices. And one of the last things I would like to talk about billing here is milestone-based billing and milestone-based revenue recognition, which I think, again, is a very incredible feature. These are mostly relevant to those businesses that would like to, charge their customers only when a certain goal is met. So these kind of, subscriptions usually hold a percentage of goals that are completed at the line level. And we also associate a completion date to it. So as and when these goals are met, we charge our customer. And similarly, we also do the same for revenue as well. As and when, the revenue goals are met, we go ahead and recognize the revenue for so-and-so, billings that have happened. Let's go to the next slide.
I just wanted to add one thing on the accounting, right? So I know subscription management doesn't care about accounting, right? Because it's more on the, upstream side, but there are scenarios like actually in many times in multiple implementations I've seen, like if you're downstream, if your AR requires you to achieve something on the accounting side based on certain criteria, you can always have something called attributes on the subscription side, or if it is a standard field. So what I'm trying to say is subscription management can help you to derive some of the account. I mean, it won't derive the accounting, but it will help you to feed AR so that AR can derive the accounting. So we have seen that scenarios in the past. Okay, keep going.
Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That's
yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
Kavya.
sure. Let's talk about some of the customizations that is possible in subscriptions. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that we do integrate with a lot of our legacy systems that are not originally a part of Oracle. So some of these systems may have some very crucial data that needs to be sent over to Oracle, and probably Oracle does not have some of these stored in standard fields. So what we do is we create custom attributes to store such data, which is crucial to the business. And this data can be further interfaced to RMCS and AR as well. So what we do is with the help of application composer and service mapping, which are two setups in subscriptions that help us create custom attributes and push this over to our downstream modules. We make use of customizations like this to hold and process information that is crucial to the business. These kind of custom attributes are also can be pulled in reports. So these are used in reports as well. So let's say there's a very, very specific customization that your business needs to have and Oracle doesn't provide it. Oracle does give you the liberty to go ahead and customize these in the form of custom attributes or extensible attributes. Let's go into audit. Audit is again something that I think most of the companies want. They want traceability. They want to be able to track what happens in a particular transaction. They want to be able to see what happens on a particular subscription, if it was updated, if it was closed. You have an option to track all of these. There is a setup for audit wherein you go ahead and select some of the very specific fields or all the fields that are available to you to be audited. So let's say when a user goes ahead and makes a change on one of the attributes or multiple of the attributes or closes a subscription, the auditor or the reviewer can always go at the header level or at the line level and see who made an update, what updates were made, and during which time frame or on which date those updates were made. So this kind of helps keep compliance, and also there is traceability of changes in the subscription. I'm going to the next point, which is basically document sequencing. Again, subscription numbering is something that is also very common to other modules. Wherever there's a transaction or invoice involved, you would want to be able to name it or number it the way your business actually does. We have had various requirements in the past wherein we have been asked to set up subscription number in such a way that if the subscriptions are created for a certain business unit, we want these kind of numberings to take place. Like, since it's an alphanumeric field, we can incorporate letters as well as numbers. So we have talked about having the business unit name as a prefix, and then the recurring or the the incrementing number as a suffix of the subscription number. Similarly, we have had very unique numbering for how the subscription was created, whether it was created by integration or manually or through import. We have had different ways of numbering these subscriptions. So that was all about subscriptions. We can go ahead and set these up in the profile.
Yeah, just wanted to go back on the point number 7 quickly. So most of every customer, every project, the heavy requirements on point number 7, the fields, right? It could be a standard field, it could be a custom field that you enable in subscription management and pass it on to AR, because Oracle, whatever the important information from subscription to AR, it sends, but there is a lot you can do using the app composer and service mapping, combination of these two. That is one of the best, the beautiful functionality Oracle has provided on that one. Okay. We only have like 6 minutes. I think we can take some question and Q&A. Let's go to next one. The last slide, right? Okay. Ritik, you want to open up, you want to unmute everyone and see if anyone has any questions?
Yeah.
Anyone has any questions that you want to ask or?
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask any questions that you have, please.
Okay. I know there was one question that was posted about the tiered pricing. Yes, you can define the tiers. And there was also, what was the other question that was posted on the chat?
Yeah, so Srinath Kirti is asking, with respect to pricing, can be defined based on the volume? Like when the consumption is high, we should charge low, and when there's a limited consumption, can we charge different amount?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. Other questions we have, one from the Bill. Is there a limit on the number of custom attributes we can have in subscriptions?
No, there is no limit. What we have done, there was one customer, we had so many attributes. So what we did, you can group those attributes by a section. Like, I have attributes for revenue management, I have attributes for billing, I have attributes for something else. So for, let's say, for invoice formatting point of view. So you can define as many attributes you want, and you can also group them, and you can also create a separate page within the subscription screen, actually. So there are a lot of functionality that is available with respect to attribute creation and how you want to group and how you wanted to display it.
Okay, great. Another questions we have is, can we add on more products to an existing subscription or in the middle of a contract?
Sorry, can you add more products to an existing subscription?
Yes, or in middle of
you
a
can do
contract.
it. Yeah. You need to amend the subscription. Basically it goes in amendment mode, but we have option to continue with the billing, but we can add more products, and you can also add the same product again with the different kind of attributes. Yeah.
Okay. I think that was the last question we had.
There was one more, I think. Do you see issues when subscriptions are also included in order management for companies that may also be using Oracle? Ganesh, do you want to take that up?
Yeah, there is no issue. In fact, there is a standard integration between Oracle order management to Oracle subscription management.
Talking about the duplication of AR in RMCS.
Ganesh, can you repeat it?
Ganesh, can you repeat that? I think everyone else can go mute. Kavya, maybe can go on mute. Let's see.
I think there was an echo or something. Yeah, so there is no issue in integrating between your order management to subscription. In fact, there is an out-of-the-box integration between your order management to subscription management. Let's say you have a sales order that is created for a combination of a hardware product and software product. Your hardware can be built from order management to AR once the fulfillment has been done, and as your software items can flow to subscription module, and then from subscription to your AR and RMCS. So there is an out of the box integration available between order management to subscription.
Yeah. And just kind of to add to what Ganesh said, there was a requirement for us in one of our customer where, once the order is fulfilled, they have a requirement. Unless the order is fulfilled, we don't even want it to activate the subscription. So we build that logic in such a way that subscription gets created in a draft mode. Once that fulfillment is done, then we will activate it so that the billing starts. But there were other dependencies where we had to achieve it through some kind of additional logic. But what Ganesh said is the integration is available. Basically, it's out of the box.
In fact, there are integrations between your order management to install base and install base to subscription management. So it's all available out of the box.
Did that answer your question? Or okay. I'm not sure if anyone has any other questions. If not, thanks everyone for attending this webinar. And if you have any more use cases, please send it on our way, and we would be happy to chat with you. Or we can, we do these webinars often based on any new features or any new use cases we come across. Thanks everyone for your time attending this webinar. And if you can email it to, sorry.
So just thanks everyone. I think there's still a question from someone.
Kavya, can you go on mute? I think you're going, so I'll use case.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us and give us of time. Thank you.